My name is Tommy Rebel. I'm a Bay Ridge resident, born and raised, third generation Bay Ridge. My introduction to signage basically was through writing graffiti. I started writing graffiti in the summer of '87. And in writing graffiti, you play with your own fonts, you design your own typeface, and enjoying the streets of Brooklyn, writing on the walls and everything else. You notice like bodega signs and oh yeah, everything is a conversation piece. And basically, I will not hang anything in my home unless it has a personal meaning to me and a story behind it. Like, I'm not going to go to IKEA and buy like a cool picture of a rose and hang it in my house. I refuse to do that. This represents my graffiti wall because it has the sign and it has the spray paint with that. This represents the kitchen, which is, the old school ice cream. I had this fully restored by an old guy in Brooklyn. He actually went out and he found me one because he refused to give up his. So, like, that clock is from my friend Ed, so I told him when he comes to New York, I want him to autograph the back of it. So that, whenever I have a friend that gives me something, I always like him to write on it to, like, personalize it. We've been going to Hinges our whole life. And it's like an institution in Bay Ridge. It's like one of the old-time stores that are left. Because very few old-time stores are still remaining in Bay Ridge, so it's part of history. Not to mention the ice cream, the food was great, the service was wonderful, the people there were great. My friend was a soda jerk there for like 15 years. And when I learned it was closing, I got a phone call from a friend of mine and I was at work. And I just refused to believe it. So then he called me back. He's like, yo, my wife's mom's seen the sign. So I came out of work at 7 o'clock in the morning and I drove by it and I saw this big orange sign in the window. And I was like, they can't close this place. I don't understand. So I drove home and I was in work clothes. I was filthy. So being a graffiti writer and having that rebellious attitude, I was like, yo, I'm writing on Hinges. So I kneeled down and I signed it. And you know when you're so into something, you're so drawn into it that you don't notice what's going on around you because you're so into it. I felt like somebody was watching me, but I was so driven, I just kept writing and writing and writing. And when I had gotten up, I noticed that there was a lady behind me crying. When I was younger, we went to the butcher to get meat, the baker to get bread, the ice cream shop to get ice cream. The thing I miss mainly about the older Bay Ridge is the sense of community, and mainly it's the people. It's I miss having knowing all my neighbors when I was a kid. And for the people that live in Bay Ridge, it's something that I remember. And it evokes emotion and it makes you realize what used to be in your neighborhood and the history, value. Also the nostalgia, As a kid, you might have shopped in one of those stores. Oh my God, I forgot all about that store. Wow, okay. Yeah, that was there too. It evokes the brain to start working again, to remember those things that you had as a kid.